quite soft light. Little barley. Welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Horst Lüning, and I'm the master taster of Whisky.com, and today we have a look at the Grant's Family Reserve, 43% ABV, and I have to apologize, this is a plastic bottle. It's half a liter, and I bought it on a ferry in Scandinavia, and typically there's this triangular shaped bottle for the Grant's Family Reserve, which we know from Glenfiddich, but there it is green, and for the Grant's it is colorless, clear. Grant's Blended Scotch Whisky, the Family Reserve. Well, Grant's is in the possession of the William Grant and Sons company, which owns Glenfiddich, Balvenie and Kinninvie, as well as the old Girvan grain distillery in South Ayrshire and the newly built Ailsa Bay malt whisky distillery on the same premise. So, William Grant & Son is no public company. It's a privately owned, family-owned company. I think they have dozens and dozens of grandchildren to the company founder, which founded the company in 1887, and the first spirit flew, I think, at Christmas Eve in 1889. Here they say 5 generations of whiskey making. Grant's, or William Grant & Son, is a very profitable company. They have profits 30% and £1 billion of revenues. So they know what they are doing, and they do it well. Grant's Family Reserve has been crafted for 5 generations to create a rich and complex Scotch whisky with depth and character. And below is colored. Yes, all the cheap blends, or the medium price blends without an age statement, they are typically colored because what's coming out of the cask is quite light in color. So it's light white wine in color, and you have to add caramel to give you the impression of whiskey, to help your brain recognize the liquid as a whiskey. More? No, enjoy responsibly. We will. This one has 43% ABV because it's from a travel value. Typically, the full bottle has only 40% ABV, and the full bottle costs about 25 euros. So it's not the cheap one. It's a branded blend, and it's, well, in the middle of the price range. And the Grant's Family Reserve is number 3 of the Scotch whiskies in the world, after Johnnie Walker Red and Black and Chivas Regal 12 years old. Yeah, I bought the small bottle because I'm not a friend of this blended whiskies, and as well not a friend of those cheap whiskies, and I do not want to spoil money which I could invest on other whiskies. I went through the ferry, through the Tower Value, and bought all the cheap ones. So you have to watch a few others in the future. But I was asked to have a look at those cheaper whiskies as well, not only the 500 plus euro whiskies I sometimes have here on my cask. The nose is full. There's a decent amount of malt whiskey in it. And which ones? So typically people tell from former times that there are 30 whiskeys, malt whiskeys in a blend. But in the meantime, in the last 2 or 3 decades, the profession of the whiskey broker who buys and sells casks between the companies, well, has nearly vanished. Most of the big companies, and if you have a revenue of $1 billion, then you are a big company. They own their distilleries they need themselves. So most likely there is Kinninvie whiskey in here. Kinninvie is a single malt whiskey. I think I had one already. One of the 2 which appeared already on the market in very small quantities. They have several, half a dozen or 9 stills. I do not remember really. And with different shapes, so they're able to produce very different whiskies. And then there's Balvenie, there's Glenfiddich, there's the new Ailsa Bay distillery in the south, in the lowlands. And with these variety of malt whiskies, they are able to produce everything in the corporation. Quite soft light, little barley, vanilla, oak, yeah, a little spicy oak, and distant smoke. This is quite typical for the mass-produced blended whiskies in Scotland. They all have a small amount of smoke to bring more complexity and to distinguish themselves from the broad masses of bourbons which compete for the masses, or the Indian whiskies. I had a McDowell's for tasting here on my cask. #1 whiskey in the world. So, and to have a difference between the others, they add a little smoky whiskey, malt whiskey, to the mixture. Yeah. A little sweetness, but also alcohol, quite in the front. Spiciness, a little burning on my tongue. And then there's this metallic note most of the young blended whiskies have. Yeah. But there's caramel and a little vanilla also. Finish is medium. Yeah. And this smoke lasts also. So this one is a blend. You're able to sip neat, that you do not have to dilute Coke or something different. But it will also go well into long drinks and cocktails. Yeah. It's strong enough not to be, well, diluted by sugar and everything in those cocktails. Yeah. Thank you for watching. There's more to come. Stay tuned, and as always, please ask your questions on Whisky.com in our blog, our video log, and I will answer your questions there.